Hi, welcome back to Toadstool Tarot. I wanted to do a little side-by-side comparison for you of two recent decks from Conrad Steyn available on MakePlayingCards.com. Now, these are both Tarot de Marseille. They're slightly different, and Conrad's signature seems to be weathering or aging the look of cards. And these are traditional older decks, so it works really well with that concept. The two decks as defined on the site are the Tarot de Marseille Arnoult, which has this lovely kind of cracked eggshell back. I've already done a walkthrough of this. And the other one's just called the Burnt Tarot, and this has an aged teal background. It's beautiful. It's not showing well in this light. Sorry to say I have a ring light on its way to me from Amazon, but it hasn't arrived yet. And I probably should have waited for that to do this, but we'll press ahead. I just wanted you to see these. I love them both. Can't decide which one I like better. The burnt one has kind of burnt edges, and the Arnault has kind of soiled edges. The colorings are different. On the Arnault, it has a lovely kind of milky, chalky look to it, although it doesn't feel chalky. These are both on the lovely S30 cardstock from Make Playing Cards, which is my favorite cardstock anywhere. It's very slippery and silky and easy to shuffle and a joy to hold. So anyway, you can see, you'll see through this walkthrough that the bulk of the images are the same drawn designs. They're just treated differently in terms of coloring and aging and so forth. And whereas this one is more, I would say, opaque and has lovely kind of pastel-y color palette, it's a little bit more subdued. This one I find to be a little acidic, almost more citrusy kind of coloring. But I really like the colors in this one are almost like a watercolor wash and kind of semi-transparent, which is interesting. So I love them both. I don't know if I could pick a favorite, although if I had to pick a favorite now, it might be that one. But what do you think? Now, cards number 2 and 5 are different because in the traditional deck you have the papesse, la papessa, and in the Arnault deck they replaced the papesse and the Pope with Juno and Jupiter. So herein is the only difference, I think, in the artwork in the deck other than the coloration. I love these because I'm not partial. Oh, here you go. Here's the other. I'm not partial, generally speaking, to Marseille decks' bold primary coloring. So I probably have a dozen decks, and I think I might have one or two traditionally colored ones. But the bulk of my collection is modified, contemporarized coloring of these decks to palettes that are more aesthetically pleasing to my eye personally. I know a lot of people are more into tradition and authentic colorings, but I love the fact that these new alternate palettes are making Marseille more accessible to a whole new audience of newcomers that really hadn't been interested before. And I've been through a couple of phases. I first, what is this? This is August. I think last September, I went through my first phase of interest in Tarot de Marseille. I mostly am an RWS traditionalist, but I tried to sort of embrace Marseille last September, and it was a phase lasting about a month, and then it went away, and I went back to RWS. And I would say with the creation of my own deck a couple months ago, since then I've been I'm working on actually a new deck that's sort of Pip style or approaching a Marseille style, and I've also been collecting a lot of Marseille. You could see a little difference in the artwork here in the belly, the face on the belly. It's a little bit of a blue moon. You can sing Blue Moon. This one, I had never noticed before. Somebody pointed out that one of the twins has a tail, and you can clearly see it in that artwork, but not in other decks that I have. They've removed the tail. So you got me slightly out of order. I reordered them. There we go. Oops. Yeah, that's out of order. Judgment. And the World. Yeah, we go to Cups. You can see some slight differences in some of the design work on certain cards, but for the most part, the art is identical. I think the line work on this one, it might be just a little bit less refined. It's very smooth on this one, very sharp but smooth, and it's sharp here too, but the lines are a little, I don't even quite know how to describe it. I want to say more crude. They're not really crude, but the lines kind of stand out more. The texture on the leaves in this one is a little more pronounced. In this one, it feels like they're closer together, or they're just more, the lines are softened somehow. It's almost like, I mean, these are not blurry cards, but it's almost like there's a slight blur filter on them that just makes them feel very smooth and soft. So in some ways, this is a little bit harsher, and like I said, it has that kind of acidic coloring, and I just find this milkier one more pleasing. It's kind of like the difference between a glass of warm milk and a cup of orange juice, or lemonade and a latte. These are both extremely affordable. They don't come currently in boxes, and they don't have little white books with them. So you need to be comfortable with that and familiar enough with the cards that you don't need to rely on a little white book. But there are plenty of tarot books that you can buy, and articles and websites online, and you can Google any answers that you might need. I'm very anxious to see the response to these, whether you own either one or whether you're prompted or tempted to purchase either one, and which one you're drawn to. The Burnt Tarot or the Arnoult? I've gotten quite a few lovely decks recently, and it makes it that much harder when I sit down to do a draw to decide which deck I want to work with. I know a lot of you in the community buy a lot of decks, and I'm wondering how you decide which one to play with on any given day. So it's like having a favorite toy on Christmas morning. Like, how do you choose which one gets the play and which ones stay in the toy box for now? You can't work with them all the time. And we do have preferences. So please leave me comments below. How do you feel about these? Do you like the coloring? Do you like the alternative to the traditional palette? And if you do, which one of these are you more drawn to? The Eggshell Arnoult or the Burnt Tarot in teal?